Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to those that haven't been here before. So let's settle into our evening with our meditation, after which we can have some reflections, discussion, questions. So having found a comfortable sitting position, aligning our body with some degree of symmetry, balance, poise, helping to enable an inner mindful presence. Our eyes gently closed, helping to bring our awareness within. And we can have our initial deep, relaxing, letting go breath. Nice deep breath sends a signal to our brain to release endorphins to soothe the muscles, tendons, tissue of our body. And the outgoing breath is also a psychological symbol of letting go. So breathing out, letting go of issues, worries, concerns, roles and responsibilities, putting all those aside in order to bring our mind into the present moment. Just here, just now, just knowing. Meditation is practicing being present in a calm, conscious, collected way, developing mindful presence, and particularly by using the naturally occurring sensation of our breath as our reference point for the present mindfulness of breathing. But before we bring awareness to the breath, just relaxing our awareness down into our body, feeling into our body, getting a sense of our body sitting here, helping to move the mind away from thoughts about what has been, thoughts about what might be, just feeling into our body with awareness. Feeling grounded, settled, centered, present. Noticing a few contact points of mindfulness. Feeling our feet connecting with the floor. Contact sensation, feet against the floor. Feeling our body connecting with the chair, cushion, or meditation stool, noticing that. Noticing and feeling the placement of our hands and fingers resting in our lap, making sure they feel comfortable, adjusting them if we need to. Feeling the contact sensation of hands and fingers. Maybe one hand resting in the other or against the fabric of our clothes. Just noticing, sensing, feeling as a mindful act, conscious knowing. And bringing our awareness up to our shoulders, a place where stress, tension can collect. So feeling into the shoulders with our awareness, sensing how they feel and relaxing them if they feel tense. Relaxing the shoulders without disturbing the uprightness of our back. Relaxing the shoulders. And feeling down into the chest area. Relaxing the chest area so our lungs can expand fully. Relaxing the chest area. And then feeling with our awareness down into the abdomen belly area. Place also where stress tension collects. relaxing the abdomen belly area, particularly so our diaphragm can extend as we breathe. And then feeling that soothing movement, that motion upwards with the in-breath, relaxing down with the out-breath, letting our body find its own natural rhythm and process of breathing, sensing and feeling that rising, relaxing, rising, relaxing. Maybe noticing also our face, the air connecting with our face. And also perceiving some degree of light coming in through our closed eyelids. And even looking into that lightness, brightness, color patterning, or just a blankness through the closed eyelids. A forward focused gaze into the space in front through the closed eyelids. Not being disturbed or distracted by background sounds that we might hear. And the same also for the internal mental sight or sounds of thoughts, where all thoughts occur as a mental image that we see, or a mental sound or voice that we hear, not getting caught up into those. Now, rather choosing to focus our attention in the present by connecting with each breath, finding that main place of sensation, maybe somewhere in the nose nostril area, directing attention to that place and sustaining attention there to feel the natural inflow, outflow, sensation of each breath. Meditation is directing attention to one thing, one simple thing, one neutral thing as a way of exercising, developing focus, collectedness, helping the mind to become inwardly still, silent, spacious, calm and peaceful. Just giving the mind one thing to do, notice and feel each breath in each present moment, while also maybe noticing the lightness, brightness coming in through the closed eyelids, and repeating in the mind a mental word or two as a mental mantra. That's helpful. Whatever words might be helpful, such as calm on the in-breath, ease on the out-breath, calm, ease, calm, ease, calm, ease. Letting the mind settle into this attentive awareness, feeling and knowing each soothing therapeutic breath, always returning attention back to the breath. It will become either distracted by thoughts or caught into some mental dullness. Just coming back to the breath. Just be in this meditation, inwardly reminding ourselves to try and sustain as much of this calm, mindful awareness, keeping that going on into the ongoing moments, minutes, hours of the evening, keeping our mindfulness going. And to end the meditation, just taking a deep breath and slowly opening our eyes to finish. Please help yourself to some tea biscuits. And anyone that hasn't been to the group before, if you want to put your contact details on the chart at the back to also get my e-newsletter, which comes out informing of upcoming retreats. There's an interesting statement that, in a way, is a powerful statement, pointing to something that is important. The statement is that what we know of the world, what we know of life, what we know of ourself and our mind is only limited by where we cease to question. So hinting at the importance of questioning to learn, to grow in understanding. In many ways, questions can be a movement towards, yes, understanding, but also a movement to change. Often significant changes in the world, whether it's political, social, economic, within communities, begin with the question, you know, what is this about? Could this be different? What purpose is this serving? Is this good enough? So questions are powerful in that sense that they can even change our life. in the work that I do as a psychologist, I'm often asking people to ask themselves questions, and as a point of movement, and even the question of what questions do I need to ask myself? If I'm going to ask questions, what are those questions? Coming up with some questions. Even, do I need to ask myself any questions? Maybe yes. Okay, what would those questions be? How can I formulate those questions in such a way that there's a movement forward, a growth and an evolution, even the whole of the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha taught for 45 years, which is now a spiritual, psychological, philosophical tradition, which has lasted for over 2,500 years, began because the Buddha, before he was the Buddha, asked questions. Why is this so? Is there a way to not be caught up in stress and suffering? Is there a way out of stress and suffering, a way out of samsara, this ongoing cyclic process of being born, growing up, aging, illness, death, on and on and on and on? Is there the possibility of freedom? And then the motivation to go and see if there is that possibility, becoming fully enlightened, and then teaching for the next 45 years the way to that freedom, way to that enlightenment and peace. So important for ourselves to ask ourselves questions, and probably we ask ourselves questions during the day, even in a sort of a subconscious way. Oh, should I go to meditation tonight? So we're here. Maybe the people that didn't ask themselves that question aren't here, or they just came here automatically. No need to ask myself. I just go. The car's heading in that direction up to Farron's Hill. But even, I think, from time to ask ourselves the question, why meditation? Why meditation? Because sometimes, especially if we've been meditating for a while, then a degree of complacency can settle in. And meditation's about having an edge, being on that edge of the present moment, maintaining that mental alertness, calm and clarity, peace and presence. And if one's taking one's meditation for granted, even just sitting down and getting it caught into an automatic sort of process and not attending to each present moment with alertness, making each present moment special, each present moment unique, being there for it, not missing out. So asking oneself, why do I practice meditation? And giving that conscious consideration, and not just going for one answer or the first answer, because that may not suffice. The mind might throw up a silly answer. Why do I meditate? Well, what else to do? Or because I haven't got nothing better to do. But no, that's one answer, but maybe there's other answers as well. So I've been thinking about this for myself, and I feel even the reason that I started meditation back in 1981, different than why I would be meditating now. And even over the years in between, different reasons for practicing meditation. Maybe there's a relationship between those reasons, but maybe slightly different. Even when I started back in 1981, the main reason was to reduce stress and develop some mental clarity to help me with the high school certificate exam. I felt I hadn't been studying enough, I knew I could maybe make up and gain some edge on my fellow students if I'm calm and clear-minded. How to do that? Meditation. So I got into meditation. I think it might have helped a little bit, but I probably should have started it years beforehand. Did do okay in the HSC, but it was more that in the meditation, I felt that there was something deeper to be fathoming and feeling into, looking into and experiencing that meditation offered. And I needed to engage that in a more serious way. How can I engage this more seriously? And back in 1981, I didn't have any meditation groups. I was only 17, still at high school last year. And so I thought that, well, if I'm serious about this, I'll have to become a Buddhist monk. Damn it. Total sort of change of lifestyle. But if you're serious about something, go for it, make it happen. So yes, I did the HSC, did fine in it, qualified for university, put that aside and became a Buddhist monk. And I could see that being a Buddhist monk, one of the main things that the practice involves is meditation. And I wasn't sure how long I'd be a Buddhist monk for, because monks and nuns don't take a life vow, and you're just there as long as you feel to be, need to be, want to be. And if you decide, okay, that's enough, then you can leave. But I could see that this process of learning about the mind, understanding myself, understanding the world from a meditative mind perspective, understanding life, is going to be a bit of a longer process than just being there for a few weeks or a few months or even a few years. So I ended up being a monk for 11 years. And over those years, got really into meditation as a significant practice and learning that in the context of the Buddha's teachings, 2,500-year-old practice and process, that meditation was significant. The practice trinity being sila, samadhi, panya, sila morality, living in a wholesome moral way, ethical way, which allows the mind to be more at ease, to then cultivate the mind through meditation, which then allows the mind to see things more clearly and accurately, which then develops insight wisdom, liberating the mind from fear, confusion, illusion, delusion, ignorance, realizing the fundamental purity of the mind, the enlightened mind, Bodhi mind, as a possibility. But meditation was the middle thing, that there was a fundamental structure that supported then morality and the development of wisdom. But over the years, since being a Buddhist monk, reflecting upon why people do come to practice meditation. Certainly we're aware that it has become a lot more popular over the last 40 years. There's a lot more people that practice meditation because they can see that it's worthwhile. And even if people don't practice as much, or people even stop practicing for a while, there's a sense of, no, I think that it's something which I could be doing more of to enable my quality of life. The Buddha said that one of the most important things a human being can do is to cultivate the quality of their consciousness. The quality of our consciousness, the quality of our mind, because everything is experienced and perceived and received through our mind. So if our mind is distracted, distorted, distressed, depressed, diminished, then that affects how we then perceive and experience life, ourselves, everything. Whether it's to do with personal life, work life, it's all perceived through our view, our perspective, our clarity of mind. So it's so important to have a calm, clear mind to be able to see things clearly, hence importance of meditation. And in that, then it becomes a practice, not something that we do just on a retreat. Now, once a year, I'm going to do a 10-day retreat, then I'll do some meditation or just on one of John's Sunday retreat days once a month, or maybe not even like on a Thursday night, I do meditation. But ideally, to see, well, hey, our mind is being affected from hour to minute to moment by what's going on, what we're perceiving and experiencing. So it's important to have a calm, clear mind, and therefore to be able to look after the mind every day as an ongoing exercise. It's a bit like when I see clients and mention the importance of meditation, whether they work as a tradie, I say it's a bit like, with your tools. In the morning, you get out there and you sharpen your tools so that you're working with sharp, clean tools. Important. Or you might sharpen them or clean them after the job, the end of the day, so that it makes your life and your work much more easier. If you're a surgeon, then you want to have clean, sterile, sharp surgical implements. Don't let them get blunt. So that's dangerous. Don't let them get dirty. Life might depend upon it. So in a way, it's becomes a motivation to be able to practice our meditation on a regular basis, ideally every day, because we're using our mind every day. There may be also not to see it so much as work, but also it's a relief, it's a retreat, it's a relax, it's a reprieve, it's a reduction in being caught up in thinking and stress. To have that conscious break, to bracket the roles of the issues, and to bracket life into the worldly life, to come back to something more profound in the present moment. Where we could say that meditation is something which is significant for us to be doing. It's special. It's even sacred. It's even spiritual. So one of the most spiritual things a person can do is to develop a calm, clear mind through meditation. Beyond sort of rituals and things, to have that clarity and purity, depth and profound peace of mind, that becomes very, very important. As well, it can be seen as something which is doesn't have to be seen as sacred or spiritual at all. It's like it's basically mental gym work, exercising the prefrontal cortex, increasing the strength of neural connections in the prefrontal cortex of the brain by paying attention on purpose in the present moment to one thing, such as the in-breath, such as an out-breath, such as an in-breath, such as an out-breath. And it's exercising attention. It's a bit like going to the gym and working with some free weights to develop that strength. Not so we look good, but then we've got the strength to actually do things and not wear out the body, because the muscle's there. So we're developing like the mind muscle to be present and not get distracted into things that aren't helpful. Negative thinking, negative mental states, negative emotions, negative behaviors and speech and so forth. To have that mind strength and clarity, that quality of mindfulness. We could say, is that spiritual, religious? No, it's just exercise. So for some people, I might say, well, I'm not interested in religion, spirituality, but yeah, I could see the importance of this neurological brain exercise to enhance the quality and clarity of the mind, so I don't get distracted into other things, especially when I've got to focus and maybe someone's life depends upon it, under the scalpel or driving the bus or whatever it might be. Or we might say, well, meditation, it's a profound pleasure. The pleasure of experiencing nothing. What bliss. Because if we're experiencing something, there's always the something, then it changes, or it's not fulfilling enough, or it falls away. That the pleasure of experiencing no thing, which certainly describes deep meditation, where the sense of the body disappears. So pain in the body, discomfort disappears because the mind is not caught into the body. The mind is simply attending to not the past, not the future, but the present moment, the perennial present moment, right here, right now, right knowing in a very refined way. So there's no thinking happening. The brain stops thinking. And therefore there's an increase in serotonin, dopamine, feel-good hormones, oxytocin. There's a reduction in body tension, muscle tension, increase in blood flow, endorphins moving around the body, increasing the healing potential, increasing the immune system, which is otherwise compromised by stress. But deep, profound pleasure. Pleasure that comes without having to use a credit card or do some sort of extreme sport to get a bit of a high in the present moment. It's like, wow. The Buddha said that the pleasure that comes from meditation should not be seen in any negative way. Pleasure that comes from meditation inclines the mind towards deep and profound peace, and it should be sought after. This is a pleasure that's not about attachment to things, sensory things that sure they can give some sort of pleasure, but it doesn't last. Either they don't last, or we get bored with them, or the senses deteriorate. We can't experience the pleasure as much. Until we get some glasses. Oh, I can see that. I can see much better now. Or a hearing aid. But even still, like it's limited. So the deep, profound pleasure that comes from meditation, it doesn't cost anything apart from just some time. Putting in the time, putting in the effort, making it happen. So these are just a few reasons why we might meditate, why people might meditate. There's lots and lots of different reasons. But I think it's really important to give it consideration as part of one's motivation to a practice, which it does take time. Meditation is a process. Also that the actual time involved in doing it, sitting every day for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or more or less. So that takes time, but also seeing that we're making up time, because by being more clear-minded and mindful, we're less likely to make mistakes, less likely to get stressed and run down and worn out and got to sleep extra. I'm so tired, I'm so stressed with issues, worrying about stuff, which you wouldn't if you practice meditation and are mindful. Yes, be concerned where you need to, but not just worrying and so forth. Bring more that wisdom mind to situations. So we're even saving time as well, making better decisions. Sometimes people say to me, oh, if only I'd practiced meditation or more mindful earlier on in my life, I would have made so much more better decisions, even saw that there was a decision rather than just reacting to something, getting caught up in something, which took me off on a whole 10, 20 years of something or other that now I go, why did I get caught up in that? Or that person. So saving huge amounts of time by having a calm, clear mind. And even just the fact of being able to learn how to be present. I think as human beings, we're continually missing our moments. We're missing our present moments, caught up in the has-been, worrying about the might be, and not being here to come to our senses, both literally and metaphorically. So literally coming to our senses to be aware of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, experiencing life, and metaphorically coming to clarity. I'm coming to my senses about this, coming to some understanding and clarity, and being able to then experience life more fully, as opposed to just sort of life as an afterthought, going through the motions, because one's sort of living our life days ahead of ourselves, worrying about something, never right here now for this moment, which is the point of existence. We'd even say, why do we meditate? To realize the point of existence, which is the present moment. You can't exist anywhere else but this present moment. This is it. This is it. Life is just a collection of ongoing present moments. Now, in 5 minutes' time, it'll be the present moment now. In 5 hours' time, it'll be the present moment now. In 5 days' time, it'll be the present moment now. In 5 weeks, in 5 months, in 5 years, what time will it be? It will be now, present moment. So we need to learn how to be present and not skip out of that or fall out of that by getting caught up in the thinking. The meditation's practicing attending to this present moment through this breath, with this out breath. How wonderful. Is it easy? It gets easier. But it's a process, it's a practice. So again, just asking oneself, why do I meditate? Is it worthwhile? What if I didn't meditate? How would my life be then? And ideally that the answers become part of the motivation, inspiration to keep this practice up. And again, I think the world needs more people that are practicing meditation. And not especially Buddhist meditation, just meditation, being mindful, being present, being attentive, calming and clearing the mind. Because if we can add to a bit more peace, a bit more clarity, a bit more ease, then that's where our life becomes a blessing to others. Even just being someone that's not so stressed by stuff, was able to offer a mindful consideration about something. That's a gift. That's huge. Important. So in the last few minutes, any questions? Any comments? Any complaints?
I was thinking about the cyclical nature of war because there's so many wars going on at the moment, and I'm just thinking about the Buddhist view on that. I mean, it's suffering and enlightenment beyond suffering. But yes, it just seems very frustrating and punishing that it's continuing continuously. And there seems to be absolutely no learning or no growth or constant regression.
Yeah, well, it can look like that, but I think from my perspective, there's more people that are starting to have that consideration in terms of, hey, are we learning? Maybe we're learning that we don't learn, and therefore we need to change that. And there's a saying, what we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. And okay, even if we're saying that, we need to go, okay, well, let's learn from history then, because if it's repeating, then is it repeating all the good things? Well, often not. But that's where we can do something about it, because certainly the history of humanity is the history of often conflict and fighting for various reasons. Even though there's times when, even in certain places, maybe not in the world all at once, but there's the history of humanity also does involve times and places where there's no war happening, no conflict happening, which is certainly good. It's promising. But to see that the nature of humanity, the nature of ignorance, the nature of desire, the nature of anger, greed, anger, ignorance, the three ills, does manifest in external conflict. But a lot of that begins with the individual in terms of, okay, well, am I at war with myself? Am I fighting myself? Am I beating myself up? Am I conflicted in myself? Where can I bring some peace to this being, and which can then flow on into maybe how I relate to others in a kind, caring, receptive, compassionate, forgiving, wise way, so it can flow on. The Buddha said that one might conquer 1,000 people 1,000 times in a battle, but he or they who conquer themselves get over their ego, they alone are the victor. So not being caught up in ego-centeredness, that's the real victory. And I think that the more people practice meditation, the more they appreciate that of the need for peace, internal peace, and how that can flow on into external peace as well. Yes, we need to learn and keep on asking those questions. Any other thoughts or questions?
I've been thinking a little bit about that sort of maybe movement around sort of meditation just for this for clear mind, and then around the sacred or spiritual aspect of that. And I was listening to a podcast about Christianity and creation the other day, and thought, oh, I wonder what would have thought about creation was one question. And then got caught in the thinking of that, and then realized, okay, now I just want to go back to the practice of meditation, the clear mind. So I feel like for me, the practice can be at either end of that spectrum and still helpful.
Sure.
So I suppose that was what I came to through that question of, oh, here I am thinking about, the creation, and then going, oh, okay, just do some meditation and don't worry about the big questions in that sort of daily moment of practice.
Yeah. And certainly in meditation, it's not about getting caught up and thinking about things, because that can take you totally far out of the present moment and out of oneself. But at the same time, the questions can be really helpful. And even to think, well, what did the Buddha say about creation? And the Buddha said a lot about creation, but not in the sense of the world being created, because that's more of a scientific question. The Buddha said a lot about creation in terms of a psychological answer, which is, yes, we are creating our own reality. Through our mind, we create our whole experience. And therefore, it's important to look at what we are creating, because we are the creators. Not so much that something or someone or some heavenly figure made everything, but more like, well, I am making my reality from moment to moment. And the more mindful I am, the more I have choice in that, to not get caught up in making my life a mess or making my life confused or whatever. So right back to oneself. What am I creating in this mind state? What am I creating with this emotion? What am I creating with these thoughts? Is that going to be helpful or not? Is that going to bring peace and clarity and contentment and joy or not? So good question, but it's about bringing it back to oneself in that sort of microcosm.
I think that's what I sort of came to, was there's peace or space in the meditation that the question becomes not relevant somehow.
Or it becomes just a different understanding of the question. It's a bit like the verse I think I might still have up on the wall there. It says, which goes, life is truly a dream. All of its troubles, I alone create. When I stop creating, the trouble stops. With a single mind and an unbounded heart, we can wake up to the wonderful existence in true emptiness, which we are in the middle of right now. When all in the world ceases to exist, only the wonderful remains. So there's a lot in that fundamentally that I am making. I am making the world, my world of experience, creating. And when I stop creating, the trouble stops. Right into this present moment, and then what is left? The wonderful. So in 2 weeks' time, I won't sit here. I'll be sitting over there. There'll be a senior Buddhist monk sitting here, Ajahn Medino, from Holland. You know, amongst in Thailand, and been a month now for over 35 years. And with spending time in a lot of time in Thailand, in forest, jungle, monasteries, and also in Sri Lanka. So he's spending some time in Australia, so I've invited him to come and be here for a few days. So Thursday night, and then the Sunday session. Thursday the 26th for the evening session, and then also the Sunday the 29th from 9:30 till about 2 was a meditation sort of session as well. So that would have been on my e-newsletter, which went out on Tuesday. So if you would like to come along, do register your interest. He sent me this Buddha image from Sri Lanka. Yeah, some people made sort of arranged to have it sent out. So you can come and see what it looks like sitting here. So thanks for coming out tonight. Do have a pleasant evening, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.